We are live. Yes, Skynet's in the room. Latvia is in the room joining me. Lovely stuff. Delighted to have you beautiful people. This, the public holiday of the good old USA. That's right. July the 4th being tomorrow. Therefore, they get today off. Hence why we had non-farm yesterday. And we conjured more jobs. We conjured them. That's the phrase I would seek to use. A word that magicians occasionally use. A sleight of hand and conjuring. How are you all? How are all your fine people? The communists are just getting started, says Codes. I fear he is right. The escalation is here. Loving it. If you hit the likes up and you hit the stream. By the way, if you don't hit the bell and go all notifications, we are definitely getting shadow banned. Many people saying they've been unsubbed or they never hear that we are receiving or doing streams, and they only see it if they're following a Twitter. So give us a like, give us a hits up. 83 of you already on. It's Crypto Sniper today. Crypto Sniper, invisible hat, shiny dome. Don't be fooled. Things are not quite what they seem. The hat is there. It's a cowboy one with a big brim. Yes, indeed. So who's having a nice, juicy, long weekend in jail? Scooped up just before the nice, long weekend to have a little jizzy weekend. The Maxwell. Other than that, just it. Well, guys, I don't want to get your hopes up too high, but it is quite nice to see the little wretch of a woman being scooped. How many times did I tweet out, what the hell is going on? Why haven't they taken her? Anyway, so we're going to talk a little bit of crypto, but we'll talk a little bit of smack as well. So enjoy it, be relaxed, get a cup of tea. I won't be here forever, though, doing a bunch of stuff, going to be moving about. So hello from London. Yes, to the Londoners. Ada and the Crypto Sniper. Subs. Yes, indeed. So Ada was showing us relative strength in a little bit of an indifferent Bitcoin market. And in fact, lucky be to us, Binance now has 3 and 5x, and there's even a derivative section that I still need to work out. My Crypto Sniper members just all over it and fully in understanding and running the derivatives there and teaching me. This is the great game where we all learn together in a community. But I was watching Ada and I was actually preparing for Dollar Vigilante remote. We have to go remote because there's this little disease thing that's coming back. I'm not going to say its name. It rhymes with scam. It's very similar to scam, SCAM, and then demic. That's right. That's what it is. And it's re-emerging. And as a result, we may never meet in Acapulco again. Great pity not to see Jeff. He gets younger every time I see him. Shows you what a bit of stem cells can do for you. Anyway, so the last 5 or 6 days, is it that much? Maybe not as many. Maybe it's 4 or 5 days. I can't keep count. I don't know whether it's a Monday or a Sunday generally, because every day is a fun day. When you run your own business and you're at home, we're on the beach today and we had a great day. And I hope you are having it too. You have X amount of days. You have X amount of summers, guys. Let me put it to you this way. I'm a summers kind of guy. I don't mind a bit of skiing in the winter, but I don't want to sit in a big gray and be perpetually cold. I'm a summers kind of guy. So I kind of double my amount of summers left in my existing years, and I'm okay to shed a few winters for that. And I suggest you do the same too, because who knows what kind of prison hen coop we're going to be existing in. But I intend to make the most of it, whatever's allowed to me. And I did say in that Dollar Vigilante, Russia is watching. Yes, welcome the Russians. Always popular here with me and not buying or inhaling the Western media. So what were we saying? Yeah, so essentially, one of the things I said on TDV, and I'll say it again now, and we'll talk more about ADA in a minute, is you're going to have to exist and they're going to keep coming for you. It's one of the most aggressive escalations we've had. More and more things are going to become difficult to do. More and more laws, bylaws, more and more cops, even security guards are going to be given cop-like powers. More and more eyes. We're getting to the Gestapo. Eventually, it's going to be like Israel, where every second person is a spy. an agent and doing the good deed for the greater Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, larger Israel project. Because that is what one FBI agent said of Israelis and New York Ashkenazis, in his opinion. And that's not me saying it, that's what them saying it. And I'm afraid that's the model, that's the Bolshevik model. And the other problem with the Bolshevik model is when the Bolsheviks came, 20 million people ended up dying through a variety of causes, not all of them direct, many of them direct, bullets to the back of the head, slaughter, rape, pillage. What they did to the family of the Romanovs is absolutely despicable. He died actually from the bullet wound fairly quickly, but his family members didn't. And they were sodomized, thrown down a mine shaft, clubbed, beaten, raped, and have died a long suffering death. These are the people. These are those people, and they're coming again. This is their Bolshevism. This is their secrecy invasion into everything we do and say. They're in every dark state. Every dark state submits to them. That you get FBI agents calling them effing cocksuckers, the whole damn lot. And if he had his own way, he'd put an end to a lot of them. It's probably when someone makes a statement, he's kind of emotional, but it's also probably one of the most frank moments. So what I'm saying to you is, it's coming. And the amazing thing that happened this week, I'll tell you a couple of news flashes. Why don't we do a little bit of news while we circumventing the crypto realm? Black Lives Matter made the fatal error of highlighting the brown people of Palestine's issue and the Bibi Netanyahu's coming plan. They're about to invade whatever little shithole pile left that the Gazan people have to go hide in. They're about to come invade it and plant new settlers on it in their slow motion invasion genocide model, which is kind of what they're doing to all of us, actually. We are all Gaza Palestinians now. We just get a lighter version that's a little bit slower version that's taking a while because there's a bigger scale and they don't want the whole world to get to notice quite so fast. But the marginalization of Palestinians is part of their greater big game. And the Black Lives Matter UK made the fatal mistake of raising that question. And I had to laugh because suddenly the BBC, that was all insisting, BBC Sport and all of this, and the Premier League, all of this, players' names were taken off, it was all Black Lives Matter. Suddenly there was a great cooling, a downdraft, that they did not support all things sport related that Black Lives Matter was standing for. And it was amazing that they had to go and touch the untouchables for them suddenly to get the cold draft out of the leftist, extreme leftist media that we are all subjected to. Anyway, I know all of you won't share those views, but I encourage you to go study your history and learn those that you may not criticize. So Ada's been awesome. We've got 68 likes and 233 of you in. It's great news. By the way, don't forget, if you wanted and could have been in Ada as I spotted it and as we shared it to the community, large swathe of the community is in that. And while Bitcoin is largely, probably even a little bit down since I saw it, because it had a little bit of a nasty skippy sell-off and then kind of grinding up. It could actually be making, by the way, Bitcoin a teensy-weensy little squeeze that might bump it back up a little bit again. But actually, it's largely down over the last 4 or 5 days. ADA has been absolutely ripping against dollar and BTC. They did, of course, have one of my key clever members who's watching them. We have specialists in all areas, so the knowledge is broad. My game is the technical analysis and the charting, and that was interesting from a charting perspective. But you could have been in the highest climber that's been doing 10%, 8%, 9% a day for the last 4 or 5 days, and you could have been leveraged in that. While your Bitcoin was actually not doing very much and actually probably lost you 1% or 2%. And that's what's possible if you're in the hot spots. You've got to dance on the hot spots and they go cold quick, some of them, and some of them run for a little bit longer. And we had clear setups against Ethereum, against Bitcoin, against USD. We do all analysis. We look at all of them across. It's a buy. Then you have the fundamental fact that they were going to be talking, releasing news. I don't even know that news yet. I still got to go Google it. I've got to pack a few things up. So I thought, let me just live stream. You guys will probably be telling me how it went on their great event. But they've marched on very nicely. So right now, ADA is becoming the little snake squirming its way up the top 10 rankings. I can tell you it hasn't made our target. It hasn't made our target yet. It is having a little bit of a pushback on the 4 hourly. It's run a second interim, pushed a bit higher, and we do see it running through the 10.45s. So that's 10 cents 45. That's against Tether US on Binance. So you want to look at that 10.434 and pop it on 10.45-ish around there for targets. For those of you, we're through the 9 cents now, and we're actually at 10 cents at the moment. 10 cents, number of zeros, 0.18 fractions of a cent at the moment trading right now. Against the BTC, how many sats? We have gone from way down the 800s to the better part of 1100 sats, and you have a target through to the 1135s odd still to come. So you could have been in from around 890, and in fact, this is the second or third setup that ADA has been giving. ADA has been one of the stars of the alt reemergence. So remember, we pointed out that alts are going to start, the best picked alts are going to start over poor performing Bitcoin. Round about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, I'm not entirely sure. I have no concept of time, especially in lockdown cities. No concept of time. Every day feels like Sunday. But anyway, what I can say is I'm thinking it's the end of the week. I'm thinking the Americans are all having barbecues, and a few of them are burning down buildings, and maybe a few are getting their AR-15s to shoot at the ones that are burning down buildings. And you're going to read all about it in your timeline soon. There will be war guts, and it's all divide and conquer. There are a bunch of useful idiots that have been told that they're victims, and they believe it when they're in one of the most opportune countries for going forward. Unfortunately, that's a problem. There's a lot of smart people of that ethnicity that see the game. There's a lot not so smart. There's a lot of not so smart of other ethnicities that just want to get into fights with them and antagonize and have the full-blown race war. Don't get sucked into any of this. This is divide and conquer. This is how they push on their agenda. They keep all the crabs fighting in the bucket. The Black Lives Matter movement and the way it's gone about its business, it is a race hate organization. Only it's looking to do a race hate in reverse over here. And that's why you're seeing an uptick in violent attacks that are clearly ethnic in nature, of a group of non-whites on whites, etc. So just stay clear of crowds, throngs. Don't ever be stupid enough to protest. It changes nothing apart from making you meat for a mincing machine for when some cop fires an automatic weapon, shoots a tear gas canister that hits you in the head. I would never bother with protesting. It changes nothing. It's just a bit of mincemeat for the mincing machine, for the TV reels. And you don't have to be that guy. And very rarely does good stuff come out of that. And the people who organize that, the paid stooges, see you as useful idiots. The game is not to vote. They need your votes and participation. And how many people have been more determined to be Trump voters and more determined to be Democrat Biden voters as a result of all of this? Many. And that's exactly what the response is designed to be. Remember, it is designed to provoke an emotional response. Resentment, hatred. It keeps you in a low energy state, and it keeps you fighting your brother. And that's a valid statement for Black Lives Matter person, as it is for a patriot, as it for anybody. You should be fighting your government. You should be fighting the government behind your government. That's who you should be fighting. And that's why crypto's around, although, as I've said many times before, it's unlikely that they're not controlling it in some way. Bitcoin is currency with your name written on it every time you transact, hence why we prefer security coins. And I'm pretty sure security coins will either be closed out or they already have a way into the back with a quantum key. But I still think you have to try. Don't make it easy for them. They've got to really want you to put the quantum computer on cracking you. And little old me ain't that interesting. And I suspect it's the same for most of you, unless you're running a multi-global gun-running, drug-running scheme. And I would hate to do that because, the CIA hates the competition. If you're running a child peddling, gun running, drug smuggling game, then you're coming into competition with the Mossad and the CIA, and that just plain pisses them off. And then they will track you, and they'll get Schmoogle with their Ashkenazis to point their quantum computer at your Monero or whatever else you're doing, and they probably will find you. But if you're not doing that, which I think is most of us, Just make it awkward for them, make it difficult for them, and that's why privacy coins, I'm still waiting for them to really get up and run, and as yet, they're not doing it. I can say that they are being utilized, much higher level of utilization. It's growing the utilization. So you're getting the store of wealth coins, you're getting the bright future, they accumulate, grow in value coins, and you're getting the usage. So usage can be the leader for future gains. So a build in usage is pretty damn positive. Anyway, greatest gang in the world, says Rigo the Kid. Spot on, Rigo. You are on the script. You're there like Fred the Bear, and the bear always shits in the wood, and even the bear's shit stinks as well. I've mixed a few metaphors in there. What the hell? Let's have ourselves a metaphor salad. What do you say? It's Friday. Pass me a drink. It's only water, I think. I hope. It reminds me of that Up in Smoke scene when he reaches for the judge's drink, thinking it's water, and it's this glass with a see-through stuff, and he goes, "Ah, fucking vodka!" He shouts to the judge, goes. Anyway, I may be giving my age away with that old gag, but anyway, it's probably worth it. Up in Smoke, Cheech and Chong, I think it was. Anyway, so back to the cryptos after a little bit of light entertainment, chattery, bantery. So other BTC looking good. Problem is Bitcoin, he's a little bit tired. He's looking a bit congested to me. So let's jump over, and I'm looking at the chart while I speak to you. Oh, and this was the big thing I did with my gang of amazing snipers, our great community. And I gave a sneak peek of that to the Dollar Vigilante guys that popped onto the virtual tickets a while ago. And I said, Bitcoin dominance is a down. And remember this, because I've said it just recently when I called alts a month, 6 weeks ago, whatever time frame, brain continuum's gone to shit. But you can go check it on YouTube. It's in this very channel. And you can, if you want the facts and the times matter to you. And 18 months, for 18 months before that, I asserted dominance. I was like, I could have been wearing a Nazi uniform and knee-high boots and whipping the likes of Bernie Ecclestone and all of them and all those other masochists and weirdos in their butt-naked state. And we went from 35% at the 2018, 17-18 high, where Bitcoin was only just over a third of the market cap, to, wait for it, 72.5%. We doubled in dominance. Nothing else mattered. The only time you wanted to go long, you only went long Bitcoin. And we asserted that, and we continue to assert that. And I'm looking at this chart as sure as day, and we told you that. And I can tell you when it stopped being the case. It stopped being the case at the September of last year highs. Came off, made a rounded bottom. It was a falling wedge. It had a bump out the falling wedge. Never regained the 72.5, went as high as 7.82. And technically it was looking pop, as we call it, which means a flat wheel. And since then it's been a down. And I can tell you, I'm looking at technical structure. You can learn about the technical structure I'm looking at in one of our programs. If you feel like it, if you want to be an active investor and or occasional trader, you can go and grab the link, hit get started, go to our website. I'm not here to sell to you. You know that already. Go and do it. And if you've got absolutely not a cent to your name, there's a mini series completely free. Throw in an email. You'll barely get a newsletter once a month from us, where we just give you a quick update on things that we've seen. And we've never sold our list, and we never intend to. With all that preamble said, Bitcoin dominance is looking soft and looks for downside continuation. Now at 65.61%, and I can see it coming off again. That doesn't mean it will do a dive like it did in the bull market as fast straight away. You know, you went from 96% in 17 to 35% in January of 18. So that was all about the alts. It was all about the alts. Everything you had to do, you could have gone long anything against Bitcoin and been crypto neutral, and you still would have made money, even though Bitcoin was going up. Other things just went up faster. Ethereum made its name with its sky-high moves, etc., etc. With the possible exception of Ripple, that we do love to hate a little bit. I know some of you are thinking it's IMF coin, and I will see when the IMF money comes in. And you know what? Even if the IMF money does come in on Ripple, it's got to go up. It might become very useful and just be totally stable at these levels. It never goes up. If you want to make money, you want to get something that is going to go up in value. It might be the best transacting coin, the fastest, the quickest, the lightest, and totally stable. That means it's like buying a dollar with a dollar and spending your dollar online. You're never going to make any money doing that. You just have quick transactions. Who knows? It may fulfill that role. But at the moment, it's underperforming and it's continued to underperform. And whenever people ask me, give me a short, I say Ripple against Ethereum or Bitcoin. And you get reasonable liquidity with the two majors in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it's just continually down. And they used to give pipe spikes. They don't have the loose cash anymore to do that. So it's becoming easier. Eventually, it will end. And just like Bitcoin dominance ended, it'll end. But trends persist. So when we talk crypto, many of you have never traded before. This is really, really useful. Stumbling on some gems for you, just in the natural flow of things. I just can't prep a chat. I'm going to tell you exactly as it comes up, when it comes up. Trends typically persist. This is what I said. And in a hyper-moving market like crypto, in spite of that, they've still persisted. Hence why I've said to you, Bitcoin dominance. You went from 35% and you took almost 2 years getting up to 72%. And now I'm saying we're slowing that stuff down. But I don't think it's going to be an absolute throwdown. I think selected alts are going to outperform brilliantly. And then there's still some shitty little stinky poo-poos that are out there that don't do much, don't have a specific raison d'etre beyond other coins that have come out earlier, but don't have any new offer, technical edge, whatever. They're just themed, they're marketed, and those will be lackluster. Generally. So you're going to have a bit more polarization inside your alt portfolio, and you've got to follow the money. And that's where you see the patterns. The money knows best, and the money has said in this alt revival that ADA is one of the best. I'm actually reasonably bullish Ethereum. Let me have a look at what they've got up to against Bitcoin as well. I've showed, I think on a possible stream, I might have showed you Ethereum, Bitcoin. Let's have a little wing to it. We are talking about it regularly in our community, and we're keeping an eye. We know our key levels. We know what we think we've seen on it. I'll just pull it up on Binance. Binance, funds are seifu. Who wouldn't want a little bit of funds are seifu in these most funds not seifu times? Who wouldn't? Only can you trust? Who do you trust, he says. Who do you trust? So yes, funds are seifu times. Let's go straight to the 8 hour. I'm just having a flick at the chart, having a little look. So we've had a sustained period of hang time all around. And I told you about this, the 2.5% mark, 40 Ethereum for 1 Bitcoin. It's kind of like the gold silver ratio. You know, it's got a key level of significance. And at this moment, that 40 level is it. And I still think it could have a down leg before it breaks, but when it breaks, I'm actually seeing Ethereum gaining ground and running through 3, and I think it might go 3.5%, in fact, on our targets. That you can find out if you're in our community. We've got all our draws there. I've not got them in hand at the moment, and I'm just doing a quick from the laptop stream, nothing clever tricks. Just a quick, hey, I haven't spoken to you in a while. Let's do this and jump on. So let's see what some of the brethren, the many faithful brethren of Crypto Sniper Land say. I was deeply hurt not to be in Binance's list of crypto influencers. I am a niched man. It seems I'm too tightly niched. I'm too, maybe a bit too edgy for the likes of the real world commentators. A little bit too much of that. Okay, please look into the DeFi sector. Yes, Lend, KNC, SNX, Carver, Comp, Balancer, Ocean, and Ren. All amazing gains this year. So that's interesting, Blake James. Thank you for putting it out. And it's not the first time, and I've heard about DeFi. So here's my view. You've got to see money keep coming in for a sustained period. New coins actively save resources for pump momentum period. This is Ripple's problem, for example. They don't have any more of that. They've got to do development and grow. They've got to pay salaries. And after a while, EOS had this, it was a huge listing, EOS, as I say. There were girls on stilts. I was sipping champagne on top of a flipping tower block in the middle of New York, and there was Jihan standing on one side of me, and all the other big hitters in crypto hedge fund. It was just money. It was .com bollocks. It was just burning money, and they clearly got a massive pre-list in there. And for a while, EOS looked like the coin that was only one that was going up in the bear market. If you don't recall, I can to remind you. And then it submitted like all the others. I'm not saying it's not an interesting area. I'm not saying there won't be winners. I'm just saying from a price analysis point of view of things that are going up coldly. Not is it a cool sector and is there something definitely big going to come out of there? I'm almost certain that there would be, but you've got to always ask how decentralized is the finance. One thing I will say to you always, guys, they will never let you have your own money if it's truly not controlled by them. They will never do full decentralized finance in a manner that is truly decentralized, that the control structure can't control it. It's like saying you've got this workforce of slave labor that you keep sweating and milking like cows, and then you're suddenly going to let them all free and you're going to have to wipe your own boots and your own backside and clean your own dishes and all of that, and suddenly, no, they ain't going to do it. It's too good for them. They control the tokens in this fiat realm, and they're going to want to control the tokens in the crypto realm if it's to go forward. So I'm afraid it's a captured entity, whichever you get sold. That's why, as I say, secrecy, you might get a little bit of protection. But if you really, really wanted, these guys will crack you in time. But I don't think any of us are that interesting, as I keep saying. So I'm still for secrecy coins and interested in DeFi as well, because I think we're all going to end up working remotely a little bit, although it kind of battles. So there's two forces here, putting us all in urbanized areas in high-rise building where you rent a piece of sky for an ungodly amount, where they pound you with 5G, know you every time you wake up and turn on your device. They know everything you're looking at, know what to sell you, and just keep pumping you with all the things and endorphins and devices and things that you want and tracking you. And the concept of actually having people no longer showing up at an office. So I think you're going to become urbanized home workers. That's what they want you to become. And I'm saying do the opposite. De-urbanize, get remote, and get yourself some serious real estate. They're going to stop the music. One of the themes in the Dollar Vigilantes chat that I gave is that the music's going to stop at some point. And you got to decide, everyone's going to be jumping for chairs and there's going to be a shortage of them. And you've got to make sure that where the music stops, you're in a place that you're happy to see the rest of your years out, possibly as a stress test. In other words, the most benign government that you can find, the most space. And if you like to be by the sea or in a desert or in a forest or with decent supply of farmers and local, you've got to have thought about all of that before it happens, because that stuff is coming. So there's 400 of you on. That's great news. 392 and 132 likes. You obviously want more commercials, he usually says. It's not funny anymore. But hit the like if you appreciate a non-monetized channel. I think it's the only reason I'm still up. I've never asked for them monetized money. Don't need it. I don't want little snippets and this and pimping their crap and putting their bullshit there. Don't want it. So Adder is an outlier. Adder is up, and he's up for 9.64%. Let's do a quick refresher. So it's 7.93 because he had a little bit of a pullback now. Bitcoin is flat for the day, 0.08. And actually, I would say over the last 4 or 5 days is marginally down because I was keeping a bit of a pointer at a small position just in the Bitcoin to see how it was relative doing. And it's went largely down most of it with that spill that it had. And that's a little bit of a concern. And I have a bit of a mixed view on Bitcoin, short and medium term, and then the slightly longer term. I still feel we need a down leg on Bitcoin. And I still feel we need a down leg on Bitcoin, but it may not be as violent. Let's hope not, because that was pretty ugly as the last one. And it could come with a bit of deflation. Gold and silver. So here's a bunch of thinking to give you. I'm talking about anti-fiat now, and that involves a couple of things that aren't crypto but are very relevant. There's an anti-fiat category. Gold and silver are about 90 pounds, 100 euros away from a major macro target. And they're running into a little bit of pushback, as is Bitcoin. And I expect that we're going to get little bit mess around, but that we will at some point finish that roughly $110, that 100 euros, that 97 pounds to all those targets that we have on the fiats. At that point, I'm expecting we'll have a bit of a, we're not going to make the new high. Everyone's going to be next step, new high as we run close to an 1800s. Next step, new high, charge. And that'll be the final point just before where you get your first major pullback. So you get all your support and resistance traders getting Randy Andy. Oh, funny to mention his name. How's his weekend going? Wouldn't you love to know? That twat that showed up on the TV program and refused to apologize and did such an embarrassment. Prince Andrew, may you sweat in peace, my dear boy. Oh, it's going to hurt. Oh, it's going to hurt hard seeing them reel him in. I wonder how they're going to swerve, jink, and dive. It'll be just great to see a member of the royal family do porridge, real time behind bars. I'm for a public flogging personally. But anyway, before we get totally sidetracked there. So Bitcoin will probably be a little bit lackluster for a while, maybe bump a little bit up, hang around, maybe even go marginally higher than its current high of this up leg. But then at some point when the gold, silver, and the anti-fiats have a bit of a pullback, I'm suspecting we'll also have an S&P pullback. So I'm thinking, yeah, that's coming. I prefer to short that than the unicorns that can do no wrong, such as Elon, and Tesla, and Amazon, and Schmoogle, and Schmuckerberg, and all the rest of them. And so those guys will probably sell off a bit, but they'll probably snap back a little quicker. They might not fall as far. It's always buy the damn dip with Amazon. And of course, they're going to run a COVID scam again. Remember, we warned you the first time. As we said, the first one's coming. We said there will be at least another one and probably three. And then it will be rolling action that they will look to keep in force. Martial law and curfews are going to start to become more commonplace on an open-ended basis. This is how you control your slaves and you slowly clamp down, guys. You're supposed to be putting quarantine on sick people, not on healthy people. But that's all been turned on its head, just like negative interest rates will turn it all on head. You've paid off all your debts, you've sweated, you're trying to save and you're putting everything. Now they'll say the people who have the debt get paid instead of having to pay. They'll just reverse polarity everything to suit their tertiary extracting game. They're making the rules and there's no integrity, there's no honesty, and it's designed to keep slaves in slavery and to keep them in largesse and wealth. So you should cheat. Hear me now. I'm not saying be illegal. I'm saying be smart and cheat. Get the best life you can, because these rules that these bastards are bringing are there to suit them. And where they can't be enforced, make sure you look after yourself and your family first. That is your greatest priority, keeping yourself in personal good condition, financially, health, and then mentally, and in good spirit. And let me say to you, for all the doom that this massive escalation that is global and has affected everybody and put so many people in depression. I went out for dinner and had some steaks. We weren't allowed. We had fake wine. We had fake red wine with no alcohol. And the restaurateur that I'd previously visited and had steaks with prior to lockdown was friendly and coming and chatting and proud of his business and his steaks, was like totally demure and crestfallen, and the restaurants alongside him were shutting and not opening again. And this whole lifestyle center with all these lovely restaurants and vibey scenes that we came with, packed with people and music playing, guys jamming and keeping a bit of spirit in the place and all of that. It's been gutted. It's been gutted. Retailers hitting the wall, doom and gloom. Get yourself sorted in an online business if you're not already. Get yourself mobile. Get yourself some citizenries from various countries so that you can arbitrage the system. Get yourself tax efficient so you stop funding these psychopaths that are keeping you on the wrong end of a compound interest equation, whatever way it is. Get yourself stacking sats with a monthly payment. Live within your means. How does this serve you? You've wasted less money as a result. You bought this tat, I hope. You can save more towards your silver. You can save more towards your Satoshis in Bitcoin and in ADA at the moment. You can reallocate. You could even get on board with one of our programs and afford at the end of your year, the monthly premiums, still be making money, keeping your costs lower and growing your wealth and learning a whole bunch about the way the game rolls out and doing other fundamental things. Nothing lifts depression like taking positive, smart, well thought out action. Nothing lifts depression like taking smart, early, well thought out action. You think it's early, it's not so early. Don't waste time convincing the asleep. Let them be the cannon fodder that buys you time. They've had their chances. If they haven't got the intellect to see shit is going down here, it's a totally orchestrated, rigged game. They never will have, and they're not worth saving, and they're part of the problem. Let them be the first to go take their vaxes, do that, do whatever. Let them go. There's going to be headcount here, I'm afraid. There's going to be headcount coming here, and you've got to now focus on the people that are awake and have responded to you and your family nearest and dearest. Don't wait to dig a hole in your garden for your goal. Decide where it's going and prep it early. Do it at night. Don't tell your friends. Don't do a whole bunch of things. What if I were to tell you the whole thing's going down Monday after this weekend? What the hell would you do this weekend on the crypto front in terms of wallets, setting up accounts, different bank accounts, different locations? What would you do? Go do those things now. I'm telling you, go do those things now. Longer term stuff. What if I told you that it might take X amount of months to get a different passport, and in X amount of months plus 1 week, the whole game's coming, and they're coming for us. And that's going to be the major turn event. You have time. You have time, but you don't have time to waste. You have time for a lot of things. Even part prepared is better than not prepared at all, because you can barter and give something useful to someone else who's prepared in the area you're not. Okay, so get prepared. Get prepared, because there was a major escalation in this game. They're coming at you. They're coming at you with the vaccines. They're going to go, maybe, who knows? Send your Black Lives Matter friends, rope-a-dope mugs, useful idiots to go get the vax first. I mean, don't actually send anyone. I'm kind of only joking. We don't want anyone to die. I would never send you. I stop and I talk to petrol attendants in my country that never had the chance to get educated like we probably did. And I tell them every time, guys, there's shit coming down the road. Don't take the vaccine. Just in the time it takes me to pay for petrol. So I'm trying to tell everyone. I'm saying, don't trust, kill Gates, kill Bill, or whatever his name is. It's just a bad follow-on to flipping the movie director. What's his name? Ugly face and the funny Italian name, Tarantino. It's just gone real. It's just gone live. You've got Kill Bill Mark IV coming, and I tell them, don't trust him and don't take the vax. So I actually don't want to send anyone to the gallows. But you know, don't spend time sorting your game now. You've really got to become selfish on that. Guns, ammo, bug out bags, bug out places. Agreed chats with friends that might be more remote, where you could quickly drive to, and they have a garage, an extra building that you could rent, people with gardens or close to farmers that grow their own stuff. All of this stuff is coming. This is Reset Sniper time, I'm afraid, and this is Crypto Sniper channel, but you can't talk about one without talking about the others. That's why our logo has 3 circles overlapping. You've got to be in the middle. You've got to be in the middle. You've got to be a little bit of everything. And if you haven't woken up to the reset, I know that doesn't apply to any of you guys here, but the guys don't waste time anymore with sleepy heads. They will try and antagonize you. When Noah built his ark, he was ridiculed. They will antagonize you. If there's anyone who's antagonizing you or not taking you seriously, blank them and carry on doing your prep. They'll start to feel, wow, this guy's focused and motivated and he's giving me no time and he's not even going to tolerate me. And he says, listen, if you're a shitful brain idiot, carry on and fuck forth. Go take my vaccine. In fact, can you do it in my name as well? Have a second one in the other arm. You'll be doubly protected. Don't tolerate and just push on with your prep. And you've got to think about a lot of things, and you've got to start discussing this with your wives and your families and your daughters and your girlfriends and your sons and everybody. And you've got to say to them, guys, I'm not trying to scare you. There's opportunity in this, we come out better. But there's also going to be a challenge. We've actually had a benign century since World War II. 1945, it ended. 1945. We've had skirmishes, we had 9/11. All of that is false flag, most of it. And Mossad through America derived. They're trying to get Iran attacked. They just don't want to do it themselves. They want to push the Americans to do it. And they're probably going to succeed because AIPAC, ADL, all these Kushner whispering in Trump's ear, they're surrounded. They're embedded in there. So it'll probably happen. So we heard a very interesting, but they're behind schedule. I heard a very interesting military guy talking who got caught up in a high-level masonry meeting. And they were supposed to have had certain things happen in previous years already. And they mentioned the Chinese flu. This was in 2010. I saw this clip. Mentioned it, how it's going to come and everyone's going to get sick and it's going to be specifically designed to kill certain people and da-da-da-da-da, all planned. And it was a corona flu. So this has just been rolled out. They are behind schedule on their game. They're trying to escalate. There's a lot of people in Jerusalem, rabbis saying, we want our Messiah now, we want our Messiah now, which is an engineered end game. That's what they're pushing for. Go follow No More News for that. Follow James Corbett. Excellent research he does. Follow both those channels to stay wise and woke on what's really going down. And the best thing you can do, don't waste time with people. Send them the channels. If they don't watch, they don't care. If they're not worried, they've not seen enough to worry them, then don't care. Get with your crypto, accumulate your cryptos. Dominance is down, so you want to bias away for the first time from Bitcoin, in my opinion, but not to any shitcoin or any alt, the best ones. And you've got to have a mechanism on how to do that. So we said you've got to start thinking alts-wise now. And as it was, I think it was 6 weeks ago, and then we pointed out ADA at the time. We were also saying Ethereum was showing relative strength, and we remain there. And now we've taken a few others just keeping going. It's the snaky to the top. So what have we got out of your comments? I'm just looking to the right-hand column. If it looks like I'm not looking at you, I haven't got a squint. Looking at Dow Jones Industrial, seems a huge crash coming, says Dan. I'm seeing an equity market sell-off coming. I'm not calling it this very second, but I'm seeing it coming. I think they need to pump the financial fear side again. So, and they're going to use the COVID, the same excuse. Oh, new highs or second wave and all of this. Listen, it's like an IQ test. If you start testing loads of people, you can deliver a whole bunch of new morons. No flipping problem. If you start testing again, loads of people, you're going to find viruses in all of us, but they're contained and you've got them in health. There's cancer in all of us. We all have the potential for cancer. They just mutated cells. So, I mean, of course you do. If you've just breathed and exist, but your immune system has it under control. And the mercury and all the crap that they're going to put, and there's actually a horrible chemical that is, they call it tridelmethide or whatever. I can't remember the name. I watched a big YouTube. It didn't stick. My memory is a sieve. And that's part of some of the most damaging content as well. And then there's other things that are in the individual. So just stay away from these vaccines. Stay away from these vaccines. So shout out for Monero, says Andreas Skoll. Technically, it's not yet ready, Andreas. It's not looking bad. It's not a dullard. It's just others just looking so much better than most coins. So if I pull up Monero for the Monero fans, and as I say, my heart is there or abouts. It is one of the biggest, longest standing privacy coin. They seem to have a great community. Little bump up out of a smaller HVF there. So we had a fractal. We talk about fractals inside a bigger structure, but the bigger structure has kind of come out of a big, flat, horizontal churn. So it's not as crisp and as pretty as it could be, but it's had a little bump up out of a squeeze on your sort of 4-hour time frames for those of you who got a chart. But it's also having a bit of a pullback into it. So it's a little bit sketchy. It's just not, if you want to buy something that's currently going up, it's not the one that I would say. But long run, it remains something I definitely want to keep on my radar. That's XMR versus Bitcoin that I'm looking at. So it's back down at just under 7,000 sats, but it did bump up to about 7.3, and it is in a little fractal of a HVF there that's wanting to go up, but it's just giving back all its gains. So, I want to put my money where it's growing first. That's probably one of the most things. When you have a tax problem and when you want to start making some big transactions and buying a house, you go to Monero. Unless Monero is growing faster and is one of the highlights, then I'm in there. Usage is growing on Monero. I'm on the Reddit in Monero, and I'm checking in every now and then with the chat there so that I can get Monero wise. Had a look at a bit of Haven mining because it looked like it might be available to the common man. One of our guys in the community is trialing it for me. You've got to have a pretty powerful machine and be quite close to their nodes, and it's there or thereabouts break even. So we'll see. So Haven is on the Monero type structure. So that was quite, that's an interesting one. Yeah, so people get more scared because you don't understand it. Whatever happens, you're going to survive. Even if they're going full Georgia Guidestones, you got to get a seat on the plane of that 500 million seater and make sure you're not in the 8.5 billion that goes down. And I personally think Southern Hemisphere, if there's wars going around, it's probably safer. Tarantino was the man name I was going for, Mr. Ugly Face. That's a bit rich from me with a complexion like me, but he's all right. His movies are fun. Yeah, I think ADA could be huge, says Dion. Yeah. Okay. So let's see what else you got for me. Any other questions? Look up what is in vaccines. I don't need vaccines, says Pineapple Express. Problem with me observing the truth. Triggered, says XRP Florida. Yeah, I know you like XRP, and you know it does what it moves fast and it does its stuff. I'm not just blind hater. It's just I don't see it going up, and it keeps the chart when it turns like Bitcoin dominance, I'll turn. I'm not permanently saying it'll be that way, but if it turns, I'll be the first to acknowledge it. But I'll wait till it technically turns, and it gives me further upside technical patterns. They definitely pumped the last month. It was supposed to spill. I'm not sure who he was referring to, Asito Rusko. Smallpox and polio were going away before the vaccines because we were becoming more sanitary as a society. That's absolutely true. The vaccines have been falsely credited with too much credit on the polio. As this, we've eliminated all these diseases entirely. We've eliminated scratching our backsides and then sucking our thumb. That's what's happened. Okay, all protests are brainless idiots. Yes, broadly, yes, I would say. Don't be tank fodder. You don't have to be the guy throwing yourself under the wheels of the tank, of the big machine. Hit the likes and subscribe. By the way, on Market Sniper as well, we talk about the gold and the silver. I'm actually in a little bit of a silver long as well. Had a little break and then it's come back a bit. I'm still long, so those of you that watch that as well, stay with it. In my view, we have targets for that. Stay on the Twitter handle at the Market Sniper. You'll get there. And make sure you follow at the Crypto Sniper as well. Hit the bell and go all on your subscription, guys. Otherwise, you won't get the notification on streams. And other than that, I haven't got too much for you. I'm not going to keep you on for time's sake. I respect your time. Sometimes I'm a bit long-winded. Some don't like it. I think I've told you the big message that I want to tell you. And I'm saying there's opportunity out there in this misery. You don't have to wallow. I've wallowed a bit myself. I'm going to tell you straight up. I'm just saying, man, these oaks are escalating. Gee, this is a whole new ball game. And I sat here for 3 months having my, being tied down. And I don't like it one single bit. But actually, there's opportunity in all of this. How does this serve you? The quality of your life. Let me finish on this note. And hopefully this will raise you and you'll give me a like if you like what I'm saying to you. The quality of your life is dictated by the quality of the questions you ask. Ask how even the harshest, most piss you off thing right now is serving you. You might be the answers, and you might say, there is no way it serves you. And then I ask you to persevere again. If you want to do a lockdown compression, and this is not my theory, this belongs to a man called Dr. John DeMartini, and I suggest you follow him. It's very interesting, a great contribution to me. When there's things that are bugging you in it, how does this serve me? How does lockdown and being stuck in my home serve me? Okay, I understand they're escalating their game, and I escalate my preparation. I save money. I build and develop online friends and businesses. I make those calls to family and discuss what our bug out plans are and how we will support each other. I realize there's an escalation. I'm putting that money in silver, gold, and crypto. I'm building a tighter connection to my family, even though we have a fist fight every third night. I'm getting my home set and ready for that which is coming. I'm finding a way to make income online so that I can work from anywhere in the world, so that even if my job let me go, I can do well. I'm utilizing the time well. There's many different compressions you can do. I'm talking more on the phone to family and friends and re-engaging. I'm building a workout area in the back garden where I can do some bench press, some squats, and do whatever and keep fit. Started a garden where I can grow a few items. I'm not self-sufficient. I'm planting carrots, tomatoes, and lettuce. But you know what? That's one less thing I don't have to buy. And if I grow more, it's something I can swap out with somebody who has potatoes. And guess what? That means I probably won't starve, etc., etc. So these are all the kind of things I want to leave you with. There's true opportunities in the most bumfuck aspects of how you're being pissed off right now. Find a way to make it work for you. The real survivors, if you want to be a cockroach, and this is in the positive sense, if you want to be a cockroach in this nuclear holocaust that our divine minister of health, Bill Gates, Kill Bill, is bringing to us all. If you want to be a survivor in this nuclear holocaust, find a way to make this stuff serve you. Find a way to prepare. Find a way to communicate. Form allegiances. Do not battle on your own. Share and talk about your aspects. Get your family engaged. These are all positive, bonding, major events. And things that you can do. And with that positive note in what is a major escalation, plus Ghislaine Maxwell got, and she is going to sing like a freaking canary to save her miserable little Maxwell Ashkenazi backside. She's going to sing, boy. She's going to sing on Prince Andrew because he didn't want to cooperate. They gave him a chance and he was saying, I think the FBI need to give me an olive leaf, an olive branch of some sort. What do you mean, mate? I want them to subpoena him. I want him to go. I would never want Assange to leave, and I want him to go. I want to see him in a dock in an orange overall somewhere in Kentucky. I want to see Prince Andrew in an orange overall, cuffed like this, bitches, in a Kentucky flipping courthouse. I want him to go. I want him on death row. I want him in death row. Anyway, we'll see if that happens. We'll see if it happens. I don't have over high expectations. They are not going to spill the whole beans. The Clinton hole is so big and so broad, it would take so much unwinding of all their many ill deeds. It will never, in my view, happen. I hope to be proven wrong. It would be the second coming of O.J. Simpson times 10,000 in its court trials and rolling things that would have to be wound up if they go down. And Trump ain't innocent either. For those that think red and blue, none of them work for you. They're all part of the bankrupt, the blackmail, the pedophilic tendency game. They're all part of it, and none of them work for you. That's it. But use this time well. You can come out smiling. You're going to have some amazing life experiences and moments. You're going to get prepared. And I'm going to be with you all the way right here on this channel. You give me a like. You share it to friends. Let's get this crypto game going. Get yourself into the cryptos that are moving up. Build your goddamn wealth. It's better to be a rich slave than a poor slave. And actually, you'll be able to buy yourself weekends out and events and rights and liberties that others can't afford. And with that, I love you and leave you. Thank you for watching. And I will catch you again shortly. Blessings to you all.